Hi, this is Craig with OnRamp Solutions, and today I'm going to be explaining document storage retrieval. Document storage retrieval features. First and foremost, it is a file sharing system. It is a way to store, view, and share an organized file structure within OnRamp. It uses OnRamp security, so you can use OnRamp security to enable certain users to view certain folders and files and others not. You can set cut in and cut out dates for any folder or file within the structure. If you had some file that you wanted to come into effect, such as a new policy change or standard procedure into the future, you could do that ahead of time. It also gives you the ability for file system view. So if you have a share on your network that you want to give access to within OnRamp to certain users or all users, you can do that without uploading all the files manually to OnRamp as well. We have something called a file revision. It gives you the ability to maintain a revision history of a specific file, but only one will be effective at a time. So if you had a policy change or a standard procedure or something like that, you could set an effective date for a version 2, and it will only show one version, the effective version, at a time. We have the ability to do a report history. So if you wanted to keep track of customer lates or any other report for X amount of days or occurrences, you can do that as well automatically. You also have the ability to use consolidation. So if you had a corporate or another OnRamp site in your organization, you can share files and parts of the DSR structure between the sites. As far as an update goes, DSR has existed for quite a while in OnRamp, but it used many screens and many administration and many view screens to accomplish what you wanted. We've summarized all that into one administrative screen and one view screen. You can also view the documents in the main menu as well. Your old DSR structure has been automatically migrated into the new module if you're seeing this, and any new additions must be done in the new module. The old DSR module screens will be available for a short period of time. I am going to explain how the new DSR works. So once you're logged into OnRamp, you'll be able to find the structure in the menu. Currently, there is only one screen for administration and one screen for viewing. You can also view documents in here. Currently, there is nothing here. We're going to start from scratch so that we can go through some examples. So if we open the document storage retrieval administration screen, we are presented with this one screen with an empty tree view structure. And I'm just going to start adding in a structure that might make sense. And it's just for example. So let's say we wanted a node for training, and this will be folder type. We have many different types here. We're going to go through all of them. Folder and file are the most basic and the most basic way you can use document storage retrieval. So I'm going to select the folder. The cut in is automatically put to today to far into the future, and the security group is 32, which is general, which will be available for everybody. You can use OnRamp security to limit or give certain access to views, and we'll go through that as well. You can also tag certain things. So we can call this train, and it's comma delimited. So you can put in anything that might make sense for people searching for this. So we're gonna open that new node, and we're gonna add in something called production training, and this is also going to be a folder. And perhaps we want quality training, and we want this to also be a folder. Now for an example, we're going to open this node and we're going to add a file. And for example, we're going to say how to operate a forklift. Keep in mind that you need proper training for this, but this is just an example. And I'm just going to pick a blank example here, pretend this is a nice document with all kinds of forklift training. We're going to upload that, and we're going to save that. We're going to add another one called how to operate a brake press. And you're going to upload your document. For example, we're going to upload a docx, which is a Microsoft Word document. So now you can see in our training, production training, we have 2 available documents, all active and all available. For security, 32. For another example, we will go into quality and we will add inspection steps. And this will be a file as well. Upload that. I'm just going to use the same file for everything, but obviously your specific file will be relevant. The other thing I'm going to do as well, just to show you how this works, is I'm going to change this security group to quality reporting. And now only people who have view access to quality reporting documents will be able to see this. So for an example, so here, if I refresh this now, all the documents that you have in your current DSR will be available in the documents main menu that you can search. So currently I have production training, quality training, and we can view these as such, and any user can view these as long as they have view access to the security group. So to show how that works, I have another user, a church, logged in here, and he is only a shop user, so he won't have access to the quality training. So as you can see here, he can't see that node. So that's how the security works, and that's how you develop a basic folder and file structure. So next, let's do corporate guidelines. And this is going to be a folder. Corporate, head office, whatever other tags that you think are good. And so for example, let's put in a human resources folder. And I'm also going to put in a finance folder. Now, as an example, in our human resources folder, let's say I have a hiring policy, and I want this to be a file rev, which basically means that I can have many versions of this, but only one version that's active at any given time. So what I'll do here is inside this node, I'm going to add a new file, and it's going to be hiring policy version 1. It's going to be a file. We're going to call this hiring policy version 1. And we're going to pretend this has been effective for quite some time to demonstrate how it works. And then sometime in the future, let's say today, I'm going to add my new revision, hiring policy version 2. It's also going to be a file, and I'm going to select my new document. Version 2. And any children of a file revision type, the system will automatically ensure that only the latest and greatest revision is active. So as you can see here, version 2 is the one that shows up. And if I refresh my view for a user, I go into corporate guidelines, I will only see version 2. But in the administrative screen, I have the ability to show cutout items. And here you can see that version 1 was effective from November 27th up until yesterday, and now until the end of time, until I add a revision 3. Now I have the history if I want to see it. You can view access for a certain user as an administrator. See that here. So I can now see that it is red, so he doesn't have access to the quality training. So if you have a user that can't see a node, you can view it as them and see why that's happening. We can have report histories. So here I'm going to have a history of customer lates, and the type is going to be report history. So when I pick report history, I have the capability of adding a user group and line. So anybody's automated reports, which is set up in their user options, And the frequency in which those reports are added to this node in document storage retrieval are determined by the frequency that you set up here. So I've taken the liberty of setting up a group called DSR reports under my user. We have 2 reports set to be generated every day at 8 a.m. And I have the capability of picking that here. So we're going to pick current DSR reports. And I'm going to pick R1000 for customer lates here. And I'm going to keep 30 days of customer lates, or 30 occurrences. So now I have a report generated, let's say tomorrow morning. So now we have our customer lates and we have a history with a timestamp of that report generated. And we can do this for many reports. So we can have customer lates, inventory detail. Perhaps we want a stamped record of our inventory. So report history. And again, I'm just going to pick the other report that I have set up in my report options, R1007, and I'm only going to keep 7 days worth of this. And now we can see we start getting history of certain of the reports that we've picked. Another thing you can do as well, so here we can do user folders. So in this instance, I have a share of everybody's user folders. I have an example here. And what I can do is I can copy that real directory, pick a type called file system, and it allows me to pick a physical directory. Hit save, and I can run DSR on this node. And what that does is it goes to that directory and grabs a reference to all of the folders and subsequent files in there. So now we can see our real life folder and documents are now in this. This doesn't actually copy the file, it looks directly at it. So we can see here, we're looking at a preview of all the actual documents themselves. If you upload a document that you can't preview, or even ones that you can, such as a docx, so if we go back to here, we can't preview this document, but we can certainly download it and open it. And the same thing occurs on the document node itself. So you can click it and it will just download it for you for anybody that wants to view it. Obviously you can search as well. So you can search forklift and you'll be able to get that. So another main feature that we can do is we can share certain nodes across different sites of our organization. The main rule here is that you have to be under the same domain. So as long as you have site 1 dot organization name and site 2, as long as the domain name works, then you can share a cookie across them. So the authentication will work. So in this instance, let's say I want to share this node with other sites in my organization. All I have to do is say allow for consolidation, yes. And now I'm going to open up another site in my organization. And currently this has a blank document storage retrieval node structure. There's nothing in here. But the only thing I want is the node structure that my other site has put so much work into putting in. So what I can do here is say add, and I'm going to say consolidated from site X. It's a type consolidation child. Now there's 2 things you need. It's the HTTP root of your other site and the node that you wish to access. So if we go back, let's close this. If we go back to here, the node is here. This is the consolidation node that the site is willing to share. We're going to put in that there. And the other thing that you need is the HTTP root, which you can get from the other site's business info. Oh, I'm searching documents. So here. So HTTP root, this whole thing you will need to copy and paste. Most of the time it's the same URL that's up here, but this is the for sure way to get it. And we're going to paste that in there. So now site 3 is going to get site 2's corporate guidelines. So hit OK. And I'm going to run maintenance. Maintenance on document storage runs regularly in the background, but if you want to see it right away. So now we have full access to the corporate guidelines of this site, and we've named it whatever we wanted. I would recommend naming it the same. And now we don't have the ability to change anything within this node. It won't let us because it's controlled by the other site. But now I can view all of the documents from that site. Sometimes if you first add it, you'll get a message that says cannot view it. The fix will be just to log out and log back in. That action gains you access to the other site's authentication system. The cut in and cut out, just to show an example of that. So let's say that we wanted 2023 production something. But let's say we wanted this folder to come into effect January 1st, and this goes for files as well. So we can add a file in here. So currently it disappeared from view because it only shows you what's effective today, but we can hit yes so we can see cutout items, and I can continue working. So 2023 file. So now if we refresh our view of an average user in training, that doesn't show up yet. It will show up on January 1st for the user, and that way you can put files and folders into effect into the future without them actually being visible right away. The sort and reorganization feature. So you can right click the tree and you can enter drag mode. So let's say we wanted training to come after corporate guidelines. We can drag it here and put it after corporate guidelines. So now it's resorted. We could also, so let's say I added this folder to the wrong node by accident and it meant to be in training. I can also enter drag mode like that and put that folder right into training. The purple lines will help you guide you as to where you're actually about to drop it. So now I've moved my new folder into the training. See how to add PowerPoint. Currently, we have a PowerPoint manager, and there's another tutorial that goes over this fully, but essentially it's a way to import PowerPoints into OnRamp and be able to view them for work instructions on the shop monitor and within OnRamp. As an example, we will upload a PowerPoint. So now I have my ISO PowerPoint in OnRamp, and it basically converts it to a bunch of pictures. So I can call this ISO 14001 training. So we'll go to our administration screen, and maybe we want a folder called environmental policies. And now I'm going to add a node called ISO 14001 training. And the new type is a PowerPoint that allows us to pick a PowerPoint ID, which we already did in the PowerPoint manager. So I'm going to select that PowerPoint now. And I can also add tags. So I can add something like ISO audit or environmental policy or whatever you think is useful for someone searching for this. We're going to hit save. And now we have the ability to view our PowerPoint directly in the administration screen, but we also have the ability to view it in the view screen. So if you wanted to embed this into a shop monitor or anything like that, you can also do that. Someone can search for ISO, and then they can also launch it here and view it full screen. Like everything in DSR, it's available in main menu here, so they can search for that as well. We put in a tag for audit, so that shows up, and they just have to click it, and again, it will launch a full new browser window with the full screen, and they'll be able to cycle through everything. The view screen. This is the exact same thing for the user that's logged in as this. The difference is it's a screen if you wanted it to be, as well as you can add this to certain things like device view on your shop monitor. Obviously, you can't add this menu there, so that's why we created the screen. It's very simple. I hope that helps and explains document storage retrieval in entirety. Thank you very much.